here. Thank you for having me.
We are so excited to have you. You got no idea. When I saw this on the calendar, I was like, the Naomi Raine. Stop. No lie. NYC native on top of that.
Come
on top
on.
of all the worship extraordinaire.
NYC,
right?
that's
Queen,
it. That's it.
stand up.
See, Queen, see, finally. Our last person we did was repping Brooklyn, and I'm from, I was repping Queens. So now we got Queens in the building. There we go.
Come on. You know Brooklyn people, they always gotta go hard no matter where they are. It's like, okay, we heard you. But Queens here.
Queens, here we go. Here we go. Queens, and,
So we complete. We got the two best boroughs in the house.
Right. I mean, because we know nobody's the Bronx. Come on. Staten Island doesn't even exist. And then Manhattan.
No. Our Bronx listeners, I mean, sorry.
Sorry. This is bad. I'm like,
we good. So before we jump right into it, we like to start with at least one or two little icebreakers. So the first one I got for you here is, I know you've been traveling a lot. So what is the strangest food combination you've eaten?
Strangest food combination.
Like I've heard a lot about, donuts with bacon or the whole sweet and salt thing. So like what's the strangest you'll say?
I do like that. I had a peanut butter and jelly burger. That was not good.
Butter and jelly
it
burger.
It was not good. There was peanut butter. There was like a grape kind, or it was like a bacon jam. It was not good.
Was it on a burger bun?
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
That has to be strange.
It was. I was not happy.
How much of it did you eat?
Nah, I've probably like 2 or 3 bites. Because at first, first bite, you're like, oh, okay. And then you take another bite and you're like, oh, okay. And then the next bite is like, okay.
Like,
this is not good.
All right, good. That's a good one. So now, what is the most daring adventure you've taken?
Listen, walking down the street. I am not a daring, adventurous person. I do not. Count me out. I'm not going bungee jumping. I'm not skydiving. I'm not even, when people do those ropes courses and all of that, I'm not trust falling back on you. I'm not doing any of it. So.
No trust falls?
No trust falls. I do not trust you. And I will not be trust falling. No, maybe I would do a trust fall. I did do a ropes course once and I almost had a heart attack. I actually hate it. I don't find this thrilling at all. I go to the amusement park to hold your coat, your bag, your glasses. I will stand online with you for the roller coasters and talk and have a great time. I'll hold your drink, walk through and wait for you and watch them. When they take the pictures, I'll watch everybody's pictures, everybody's face like, I do not want to be there. I'm good.
That is like true city girl behavior. Like us from the city, we own all them adventurous stuff.
Okay. Crossing a New York City street. That's the most adventurous thing I've done.
It is quite.
Not me. Each time. Wait, so let me tell you this. They tried to get me to ride, one of those motorized scooters. They tried to get me to ride one of those motorized scooters in LA. I went probably 2 minutes on this thing and I was like, I can't. First of all, you need too much core strength to keep that thing together. I'm like, somebody's going to fall. That somebody is going to be me. And I didn't come here to go to the hospital. So I'm like the worst. I walked my scooter back to the station and like stopped my timer. They were laughing at me the whole time. And I didn't care because I'm like, I'm going safe today and I'm not going to the hospital. So
exactly. You're the one trying to do that.
It's terrible. I don't have a spirit of fear, guys. Don't worry. I just don't like adventure.
Even you. So since like Pour Me Out in 2017, we've been seeing so much more of Naomi Raine. Like you have been exploding since around that time. Can you tell me like what was the turning point?
Yeah, I think there were two, like that was like a start. Pour Me Out, especially when Todd Delaney covered it and did it. That was like a really cool, like, okay, like a thrust. And I just kept traveling. I kept going places, but it was kind of more like in stealth mode, I would say. Like nobody really knew. But I think when we did Promises, that was a real like turning point where it was like, oh, okay, this is more than what it was before. And it was, I mean, honestly, one of the things I love about that moment is that it was unscripted. Honestly, when we finished that recording that night, nobody left there saying Promises, that's the song. You know, nobody, we had so many moments. I think we did Man of Your Word that night, if I'm not mistaken. We did so many other songs, and it was like, we didn't know that was the one until we listened back. And this was before the pandemic really got, like, before we shut down. But I think it was like the timing of the song. It was just something God did. And seeing how God used it was like crazy amazing. But I've seen ever since then, there's been like such a quick like shift. Yeah.
So around like, when was that recorded? Because I know by the time we see things, they've probably been out quite some time, completed quite before.
So
2020.
So we released that, I think, April of 2020, right? Okay. But we recorded it probably August, September of 2019. It wasn't too far ahead. And that's the thing about Maverick. I know everybody's always like, Maverick is always putting out something. There's so many of us, so we have the ability to do more than just an artist that's working by themselves, right? But we do a lot. We come together every time we have a writing camp. We usually do a recording. We record some songs, and the turnaround is pretty quick.
Yeah.
Even with that though, so like, what is some of the biggest difference between you worshiping in an intimate setting at your local church versus like some of the larger stages? Like, what, at least, if anything, major difference have you've experienced since then?
You mean personally, or like what I noticed in those spaces?
Yeah, like what you noticed, like how have you seen it?
So, I mean, I love every space. Like I came up in the house of prayer. First of all, I was born and raised in a mega church. So I'm used to big stages, churches, that stuff. I'm used to that. I grew up in that. But then I feel like the Lord really groomed me in his presence in a small house of prayer. And so there's just a different level of intimacy. I find that we're usually able to do more one-on-one ministry with people in smaller places, which is thrilling, exhilarating. It just feels like boots to the ground, but in the bigger spaces, there's a joy that comes. There's a joy that comes from being able to sing out and hear a bunch of people singing the same thing, or like there's just something that happens when people lift their voices together and worship God together. There's just nothing that beats that. And so to me, it's just the experience is different. Same God. And I love how he moves differently in these places, but it's the same. Does that make sense? I know I'm not really answering this question, but it's just,
no, you are. Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's just two different types of beauty. It's like the difference between looking at like a lake or picking, you ever like just pick up a rock and look at it and it's like, oh, this is so cool. And then looking at a huge mountain and it's like, man, this is majestic. This is beautiful. This is glory. There's just two different things, and so one is more tangible. I can feel it. I can almost not control, but there's like touching to it and this closeness. Tangibility, is that a word? But there's that, and then there's this like being able to behold this massive, beautiful, wonderful thing. And the other thing that I love about going like to bigger spaces is that you get to see what it takes to really put something together. I think mega churches and stadiums and corporations, that type of stuff, they can kind of get a bad rep in church. And we kind of look at it like that's the machine, or some people just go, that's all they want. They'll glorify that. But what I love about it is that in order to do something on that level, it takes a level of cooperation, it takes a level of teamwork, it takes submission, it takes people coming and saying, this is what we're all doing together. And that's one of the things I learned from being a part of Maverick, as opposed to being like an artist by myself. And it's funny, when you asked me that question, I thought you were going to ask me what's the difference between like my own music by myself and the music with Mav. And to me, it actually is the same. That was actually
one of the questions. So you're kind of front loading it right now. So go ahead.
But I feel like it's like the same question. I feel like it's the same thing. It's like this one thing that's like, I have control over how the music sounds and all of that. And it's beautiful. It's my creative expression to the Lord. It's that, right? But then when I get to be a part of Mav, I'm a part of something that's bigger than me. And so I'm able to collaborate and pull from others. Sometimes we don't agree and there's challenge. I'm challenged there. But it sharpens me. It stretches me. And when I'm not 100%, I don't have to do everything. I can lean and rely on my brother and my sister. And when I'm 100% and I'm like, yeah, like we get to celebrate and enjoy and have fun together. Like, it's beautiful. Both are beautiful. Both are wonderful. And yeah, sorry, I answered the question before you asked.
Wow,
I love that.
Amazing. You just like knocked it out right there. I love it.
And it made me think about how grateful I am for Maverick. And that because coming from like a small church all my life, and then seeing it appears, yes, it's a big sound, right? So when you guys do worship, it's a big sound, but when you guys do the videos, you get to see a small group of people enjoying worship together. Yeah. But that small group is creating a huge sound.
Yeah.
And you get to do exactly what you said. Behold the glory of the Lord in that place. And it's so powerful.
It's so great to be a part of. I know, being from New York, one of the things that I learned when I was really young, I went to the Apollo. I don't know if y'all remember watching Showtime at the Apollo. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And when you look at it on camera, it's so big. It's like, oh, this is majestic. This is dope. And then you go to the Apollo and the stage is like this small, and you realize that most of that was like camera angles, and the experience that you had at home, you're like, I don't know if I'm going to have that same experience. But then the show starts and you're like, woo, woo, like cheering or booing, whoever you wanted to. I didn't really do the booing. I just watched other people boo, like, I couldn't do it.
Cringe.
But what I realized, it's the same thing with the Maverick recordings, I think, but the opposite, right? You hear it, it's like, oh, this big thing, and then you look at it and you're like, oh my God, but still it's huge, because what's happening is the worship. Like, and that's not a show, but it's like the main event. What happens in that moment is actually happening in real life. And if I'm honest, when we're in those rooms, sometimes we're tired, sometimes we flew in that day, or okay, maybe we didn't fly in that day. Maybe we were up all night the night before talking and laughing and eating dinner. Because that's what we do when we get together. We hang, we have fun. We stay up absolutely too late and get up absolutely too early and don't know where our voices are. And we're just like, we're just going to go. We're going to sing. We don't remember the words. Like, there's a lot that's going on, right, in those moments. The room
you guys
is
cover
small.
It well.
Yeah, well, praise God. The room is small. There's a lot of people in the room. The room is hot. There's like a lot of reasons to be like, oh man, this is not comfortable. But there's something there's something that happens when the music starts and when those lyrics start to go forth and those voices start to go forth. That's like, man, God is here, So I'm grateful. I'm super grateful to be a part of it. Like,
and we feel it. We feel it. Like, we feel that shift. We feel everything. And we would, have it on repeat, and you get it there over and over. And you're like, it's just something impactful about that. So yeah, definitely.
And you talked about you guys hanging out late at night, eating food together. How important is that connection that you guys have with one another to the sound that we hear?
It's vital. We're actually family. Like, people don't get it. We're actually family. We actually love each other. We have a chat. We talk every single day. We defend each other. We correct each other. We love on each other. We encourage each other. We see the moments that nobody else gets to see. We've kind of gotten a lot of popularity very quickly, and that can be difficult. And so we're walking with each other. We buy shoes for each other and and eat bunches of food and hang out and tease each other. Like, it's just beautiful. I haven't been a part of anything like this. And I've been on a few teams, and I love every team I've been on, honestly. I mean, some teams I'm like, grateful I'm not still over there. I'm not gonna hold you, but
right.
This thing is like actually real, and that's one thing I love about it. There's not like competition and us like, oh, I don't know, I didn't get to sing that song. I mean, sometimes we do want to sing songs like, oh, like I do, because we love it so much, but we're not competing against each other. We really love each other, and we hang. And honestly, there are times when I'm like, I don't care what I'm doing. I'm going to go and be at a Mav, right? At a Mav recording, whatever it is. Cause we don't have to do everything, right? I want to be there because that's family. And we're going to get to hang out and have fun and solve the problems of the world with one song at a time. So that's cool.
You do it. You do it. I heard you saying correct each other, and I saw in Chandler Moore's birthday tribute to you on Instagram. He said, you correct me. And I was like, wow. That's deep. They're close. It's more than just a recording.
Yeah.
You know?
That's my little brother. And I'm like, because I'm the oldest and and because of just the grace that God has given me, I'm the mama of the group. So I have the privilege of telling people, no, don't do that. Or what did you think? It's not easy. It's not fun, but I'm actually grateful to be able to be in these amazing people's lives and be able to say, hey, I don't know if we wanted to do that, or maybe use wisdom as you go into the situation. And what's even more amazing to me is that they call for that. Nay, what do you think about this? Wow. How should I look at this? Oh, I got this contract and I'm thinking about, and I'm like, I ain't a lawyer, but we're going to pray and we're going to, we're going to go to the Lord about it. Or I'll be like, why'd you do that? No, okay. Talk to them and say this, but that's a privilege that people will call you and say, hey, I know that there's a grace on you for this. And I'm open to correction. That is beautiful. And I think, like, to be honest, that's one of the things I'm praying for us about, because it's a big group of us. There are a lot of us. And like you said earlier, like Sherwin, there are people that want to, everybody's not happy, and there are people that would try to bring us down personally, and it's really the enemy. And so it's important that we keep building and we have safeguards to help protect us. And so whoever's listening, watching, whatever you're doing, pray for us, because we need it, we need it.
And for you to say you're the oldest means that it's a young group. Like the average age of the group has to be young.
Yeah, like 26. That's like the average age. And I'm not. Yeah.
I like that.
And I'm not.
But you said one thing this time, right? Because you're thinking, for the group like that, once it's blown up, it's gotten so big, even your own personal ministry, now you're in the public eye more, like anywhere you go. Not to say someone didn't know you before, but now like they know you, or at least think they know you. So like, what are some of the challenges that comes with being in the public eyes, and like how do you deal with that?
This is a good question to ask me now, because I think I've really gotten through the transition of it. And transition is always hard. It wasn't easy. I think for me, it was the pressure that I felt out of nowhere. Nobody said anything or didn't. It wasn't like anybody was like, Naomi, you have now this pressure we're putting on you. It wasn't that. It was just all of a sudden I was like aware that I'm like, more people are knowing me than those that knew me before. And I, sometimes you have to work out some things in your own soul, because there were fears that I had, and there are realities that you have to face. Like, people can look at a 7-minute video, or let's be honest, maybe it's a 12-minute video. Maverick songs are long, but they can look at they look at a 12-minute video of you and think they know you, but they don't know you. And they have information about you, but you have nothing on them. So it's kind of like you're meeting people that, like you said, seem to know you, but you don't know them, and they don't know you, So it's like this pressure of like, okay, am I going to meet up to their expectation of what they what they want to see, or what a worshiper is, or what a this, or, you know, this is the person, because we have a privilege to be a part of the soundtrack of people's lives, and not just their regular lives, their prayer lives, their time with the Father. That's serious. That's deep.
Yeah.
I don't take that lightly. I'm like, this is real, you know, and people are making life decisions, and some of them are receiving miracles. Some of their lives are being changed by this, like the trajectory of their lives. Some people are losing loved ones, and our songs are getting them through. Like, this is deep stuff. And so I was feeling the weight of that at one moment, once there began to be more, and you're getting messages and people, and all of it is good news. But sometimes that can kind of turn to be like, oh no, must do things to uphold this. And I realized that's not on me. You know, the Lord had to really be like, Naomi, relax. Like, you did your job. You sang your song. Amen. You know, always be kind to people, respond. I try to respond to people. I can't respond to everybody now. I used to respond to everyone, but it's not on me to try to be something. I have to just be myself. I'm pretty good at that, and try to love people and be kind, you know? And so after getting through that shell shock of all the pressure that I really put on myself, it was self-imposed, although some of it was based in reality. I think I'm doing better. And honestly, because I have friends and I've been able to connect with people who've been through this, I can call them, like I can text up Israel and be like, hey, how do you deal with this? Or like, what's up? And sometimes I don't even have to text him or here, Adrian will just text me and be like, praying for you this morning, randomly, you know? And so it's good to have friends that have been in that situation already. They already understand pressure. They understand trolls, you know, internet trolls and stuff. They get all of it. And so they're just like, we love you. We're for you. You know, that stuff is great. You need a support system.
Yes. Yes.
Right. And then even now, you're connected with Stephen Furtick as well. So how is, I mean, growing up and listening to Izzy's music and then listening to Stephen Furtick messages and now working alongside these two men of God, what has that transition been like?
It's been amazing. Stephen Furtick is probably one of the greatest songwriters I've ever written with. He is prolific. He's amazing. I tell him, like, I think we brought something out of you this time. Old Church Basement, this album is going to be, it is amazing. It's amazing. I think it's one of the best things we've ever done, because it brings who he is, who Chris Brown is, Tiffany, all of the writers, right? And us, and because we wrote as well. And then who we are, just, you know, it's just and it's amazing to work with somebody of Pastor Stephen's caliber. There's something I learned, like, just being around him. He's a real good leader. He really understands people, and he knows how to carry himself in a room. I can't even really, I won't even go all the way in because I can't put my finger on it completely. But when you're with him, you feel significant and you feel important. And it's not because you're just in his presence. That's not what it is. It's like he has a way of asking you questions, talking to you in a way that makes you feel like, oh, I found value in something that I'm doing. To me, that's a gift. I think that's how people feel when they talk to somebody like Oprah or, you know, really a lot of pastors have that, right? They have that gift to like help you feel. And interviewers, y'all, like, I feel like, man, I'm special right now. Like but he has that thing, you know, and he asks you questions and he says things in a room where it's like, and he disarms you because you almost want to be like, it's Stephen Furtick, you know, and be like nervous. And it's like, oh, I'm Stephen Furtick. You know, and it's like,
but you're Naomi Raine.
You're Stephen Furtick. I know, I didn't grasp that. I mean, I've been knowing I'm Naomi Raine for my whole life, but it's still a little different the way y'all see me than the way I see me. Because
I'm loving the extra voices and the animation. I'm loving it. This is the side I haven't seen as much, so I'm taking on. I'm loving this.
We keep this under wraps, you know. I'm a little animated. I like it. It's just a little bit of drama in my life. You know.
I love it.
It's good. It makes for great Insta stories. Your Insta stories are great. They keep me entertained. I'm like, yes, girl, me too.
We have so much fun.
Yes.
So go ahead,
No, I was going to swing right into, because we get to see a little bit of the parts of your life that you choose to share on social media. How do you feel, or how do you want young people to be drawn, or how do you expect young people to be drawn to a lifestyle of worship through your artistry and through, the lens of your life that they're able to see?
Yeah, I hope that, okay, because I try hard to be authentic. I mean, as you can see, this is me, y'all. It is what it is, and you get what you get. I think that's one of the major things in worship. We have to actually be real with the Lord. And sometimes we go into encounters and moments with him, like still hiding, still pretending, still like, yeah, Lord, this is exactly what I want. And we come in pretending. And I don't think God wants that. He doesn't need it. He's God, and he wants us to worship him in spirit and truth. So if it's like a good day, we worship him like, oh God, it's a good day. If it's a bad day, it's like, man, God, it's a bad day. And we worship from that place. A broken and a contrite spirit. Like, that's what he desires. That's what he wants. And he's not going to like snuff out a smoldering wick. That's not who God is. He loves us and he wants us. And so I'm praying that as I worship authentically, that people would feel that and go, oh, that's it. Just be myself. Just talk to the Lord. Just talk to Jesus, just start talking. Yes. You don't need the these and thous. You don't need to do like this with your hands. You don't need to get on your knees. You don't have to do that. And there are stages to it, but I'm praying that young people will go, okay, maybe it wasn't about the form or the fashion or, how the rules so much. And I'm not talking about holiness. I'm just talking about like what it takes to get to God. It's just Jesus, Right. And so we worship through that lens, and I'm praying that they'll hear that and they'll feel that and they'll be like, all right, I want a relationship with God. Maybe he's not requiring all the things that I thought I couldn't do. He's just requiring me. And over time, he'll wash me clean. He'll mold me. He'll produce the fruit and bear fruit in me, the fruit of the Spirit, that I would become loving, patient, kind, faithful, and have self-control. I think sometimes we try to jump to the end of a thing. And if we let God just plant seeds in us and let that fruit grow, we see that he's really done this work. So I don't want anybody to hear that and be like, okay, great is your faithfulness toward me. Okay, God, I'm going to be somebody who knows that your faithfulness is no, like live, let God show you and respond, take the music, let it be something that just blesses you. I feel like, I really feel like we need more just authentic encounters with the Lord, not what we make up. We make up so much. We make up so much, and faith without works is dead, right? Like there's things that you have to do. Like you have to actually get in the game. Come on, y'all. Like let's do something. But we just start to put on so much. And so if you're going to put on anything, put on love, and love folks, and try to ask the Lord questions, about, man, how can I love people better? And how can I love you more, Lord? Let's ask those questions. Let's start working on ourselves instead of trying to look like something or trying to chase something. And anyway, y'all know I can go on a tangent with this. I just want the young people to be real, but in a way that honors the Lord, and acknowledges the truth.
Yeah. I love that, not to try to look like something that I noticed about you and Mav. You guys in your worship sets, you guys are dressed down. Like y'all are chill. And I think that sends a message in and of itself. The first time I saw it, when we think of lifting hands and in an explosive worship session, in general terms, growing up in church, everybody's all decked out. They, when you're laying prostrate, your heels are on still and all of that good stuff. But y'all in jeans and t-shirts and worshiping deeply. It's not a game worship.
Right.
So even what we see on screen translates that same message. Come as you are.
Because let me say this. Think about it. Every culture has a wardrobe, right? There's only one God, though. There's not an American God and a white God and a black God or a Chinese God or Indian God. So in India, he's one way, you know, or that God wants you to dress in a sari. And in China, that God wants you to dress in, you know, what does it matter? Like, seriously, as long as you're modest and not, you know, scantily clad and half naked or doing something that's dishonorable or inappropriate, like, what does it matter what you wear? Do you think God is really saying to you, American person that's in jeans, you can't worship me, but a person in Africa who might not have clothes, they can worship? It just doesn't make sense. And even in some of those villages where they don't wear tops, right? They can't worship God. And so this is what a lot of that is. We've got to, okay, I'm about to go off. We've got to break down a lot of the colonialism that has made its way into our churches and into our Christianity, because we started to dress like a type of people, and a type of people, their culture, their way, became Christianity. And that is not real. That's not accurate. And honestly, I really believe that if we read our Bibles, right? If we actually read our Bibles, we would see that in the epistles, the apostles are writing letters to the churches and helping them to navigate culture, helping them to navigate and be Roman church, be Roman, be the Roman church. Galatia, church in Galatia, be the Galatian church. Okay, y'all got other issues and stuff that's going on, but there was never a requirement on you got to look like, you got to blah, 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 outside of don't get crazy and, you know, like be immodest and go off. And so anyway, I believe that if we were back in the 20s and 30s, you know, when we see people in the priests in the all black with the white collar, that came from the Puritan time, and that's what they wore. That was actually the common folk clothing, right? But we took that as only the priests can do that. And so now that we elevated that to be something that it was never really meant to be. So anyway, I can go on and on about this.
Yeah, and Sharon, we're gonna get back in just a minute, but I wanna dig in a little deeper there. The song Jubilee, how much of those lyrics can you connect to that topic? Freedom from colonialism.
Okay, so Jubilee wrote that with Brian and Katie Torwald, my white brother and sister. Even though I feel like they got a little, anyway, they are amazing. We were just talking a lot of that came out of us talking about what was going on, George Floyd, the whole situation, because it was fresh. And Katie had asked about like Jubilee, like this was the year that everybody was freed. Well, no, we thought at first it was like just a celebration. So we decided to research it and look it up. It was like, no, like this is when slaves were released, debts were forgiven. That's why they were rejoicing. The rejoicing wasn't because it was just time to have a party. It was because the 49 years that came before it, everybody was paying a penalty. Everybody, you know, had to do things a certain way. And that was what it was. And now this was the chance and opportunity to be free. Yeah. Jesus said when he walked into that temple that this was the acceptable year of the Lord, right? This was that year of Jubilee. This was the time where everybody was going to be set free and all their debts were going to be paid. And many times we look at how we dress, how we come, right? The stuff that we do as that being the offering that we give to the Lord. Now this is acceptable, you know, for you. And this is what's going to make me free. And this is what's going to buy my freedom. No, none of that stuff is actually what buys our freedom. All of this stuff that we give the Lord should come out of a relationship with him, right? Out of a relationship, whatever we offer, whatever holiness we have, that's our sanctification process. That has nothing to do with salvation and freedom. And the scripture says it's for freedom that we've been made free. And I think that many of us go, I've been free to come back into some type of stronghold and be pleasing people and looking like I have to look like I'm a Christian. What does that look like? I have a nose ring in my nose. Am I not a Christian? Like, these are just things. And you might go, no, you're not. Brandon is tatted up, tattoos all over his arms. When I was younger, I used to think, that person they're a biker. I wasn't even thinking they're like a Satan worshiper or something, but you would think a biker can't love Jesus. What? There are just things that we believe, things that we believe because we've been conditioned a certain way and we haven't taken a chance to get to know people. And so to me, Jubilee, that song is about freedom. It's about the love of God, the love that Jesus really gave to us when he came to free us. And that's the type of love that we have to give out to everybody else. And we know that one of like the Jubilee singers were the ones that actually started really spreading gospel music out into the United States of America. They call themselves the Jubilee Singers because it was about freedom. There was this freedom song on the inside of them that had to come out, you know. There's so much there's a lot there, but
yeah.
Man,
I could go all day.
Man, we're gonna have to get you on like a part 2, part 3. I don't even want to ask questions. I just want to
dropping jewels, dropping gems on us here.
Ask me more questions. It's like this ray of sun. I'm so sorry about this sunlight, but I love it.
So we were talking just now. You know, we spoke a lot about Maverick. We spoke about a lot of different things, but now also too, because there's this balance, right? Because I'm trying to understand how are you able to manage, you know, your solo artistry alongside like a lot of the larger collaboration, right? Because we're seeing Elevation Worship, the Feel Like Home collaboration, you know, the One House Worship, but also you just released, you know, a new single, which you want to get into as well. So like, how are you able to balance, you know, your solo artistry and your creativity as well as that?
I always say, I don't know if it's a balance, it's a juggle more than a balance, which means that like at least 2 things can be up in the air at a time, right? It's not necessarily easy, but I will say that it's getting easier. I mean, on top of this, you know, I'm a wife and a mom of 3, and also I'm a pastor at a church. And so there's a lot going on. There is a lot going on, but I think that when you have a grace to kind of do it, the Lord makes a way and provides. And so I have like really good teams around me that help me. There are things I don't do. I always say, people are like, how do you do it all? I'm like, I don't clean. And that is true. I don't. And I'm grateful for a child that is old enough to clean. And so they help, and we get help in the house. And I have a great village, you know, that helps me do all of that. I have to take time and go out and record and sing. I think like this is not work for me. I really enjoy it. I love it. And so I stay up all hours of the night doing it. And it's an honor and a privilege to me. When it comes to like my own music, I can sometimes put it on the back burner, you know, because there are other things that are being done. But right now I'm in a season where I'm like, no, I have to do this now. And it feels good. There's time and space to do it. And we're making room in the calendar. It's a lot of like maybe saying no now more than I said last year. But that's okay too. And we're kind of being a little more choosy about what we do so that I can make sure that I do all of what God has called me to do. You know, sometimes you can get so excited about like, oh, they invited me, they want me here, they want me there, that you don't really do what's about purpose, you know? And one of my, like he's a spiritual covering for me. His name is Apostle Lewis Dickens. He always like hits me up. He's like, Naomi, purpose. Just do things that are in purpose. And if you do that, you'll have energy. If you do that, you'll keep the grace on your life. If you do that, you'll be able to fight the enemy, and you won't be tired, you know, and overrun, and you'll have rest. Do things that have purpose. And so I've learned to like say, okay, now is the time for this. Now is the time for that. Now is the time for that. And a lot of what y'all are seeing, it doesn't really take a lot of time to do, you know. It's like that Elevation thing. We recorded that. We were maybe there 3 days, you know. And so while it seems like it was such a vast and big thing, and it's done in such a time frame that it is manageable. I hope that makes sense.
No, makes sense.
Yeah. And we're hoping that our prayer is that a Naomi Amble is a part of the purpose, and an upcoming album is a part of the purpose, right?
Yes.
We got End of Me and Find My Peace that recently dropped too, right before it. So we're hoping all of that Pastor Dickens will see as a part of purpose too.
Yes. So 2 albums coming up. One is a worship project that I'm going to do. And then another one is a real serious passion project for me called Journey. It's an album called Journey. And that album is chronicling. That's more, it's not a worship album in terms of like in a church, lifting my hands and singing with people. It's more like in a car, driving down the street, singing to Jesus by myself and get my soul together. You know, it's one of those songs. I know you guys said maybe if I wanted to sing something, I could sing. That was my song that I sang. But yeah, it's more like, you know, music, life music that we can listen to. Because I think that worship is more than just singing a song on a Sunday morning. Worship is actually giving your heart to the Lord. It's a sacrifice of your heart. And so we got to deal with soul issues. We've got to deal with the stuff on the inside of us. And if we read the Psalms, that's really what David was doing. And so this project is going to be about my journey, my personal journey, and real songs, heart songs to the Father. And if you are a day one, you know, in following me, like my first album was like that. And then some people might be like, this is such a, you know, you're deviating from, I'm not deviating. This is exactly who I've always been.
Definition of good.
Yes. Definition of good. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, more like that. It'll be more like that.
Okay.
Awesome. And if you wait, I mean, so I guess two things real quick then. So with kind of backing up a little bit to End of Me, right? So I mean, that song, that's a powerful song. The messaging, everything is kind of like, you know, I'm not moving until you, like, so just kind of tell us a little bit, because I got a little bit, you know, of when, you know, the whole story in the Bible of, you know, with the angel, and he's like, you know, I'm not moving until you bless me. But there's also like just this cry of their like, hey, you know, I'm just gonna stay in this place however long it take. But that's my interpretation. But you know, you wrote the song, I'm gonna have you go with it.
I wrote it with two friends. I wrote it with a Daisy Noel and with Marianne George. Y'all probably know her. She's a Maverick as well. And we wrote that in the midst of the pandemic on Zoom. And we were just kind of saying like, man, God, whatever you want, you know, I think we all kind of hit, I'm not going to call it rock bottom, but I'm going to call it pandemic bottom or quarantine bottom, where we all were just like, Lord, whatever you want to do, like, just do it in me, do it with me. With us being home and having to really face ourselves and make some real decisions about how we want to live. There was such a threat of dying, you know, that you had to start to decide and say, okay, am I going to do this or am I not, you know? Yeah, that song comes from that place. It's saying, I've come to the end of me. You're doing a new thing, you know, and search me, do your good work in me. This is just the beginning. I'm ready for all that it will bring, you know, like if I need healing, if I need hope, you're the answer. You're the more, give me whatever you need me. Cause I'm not moving till you're moving. I'm just really going to be fully dependent and reliant on you. And I think that in this quarantine season, we realized just how dependent we are on the Father and how much we need him. And it's like all the stuff that we thought was going to sustain us, that it was going to work, that it was going to happen in 2020, because that was going to be our year and we were going to have vision and sight. We saw, all right. We saw who God is, that God is God, that life is life. Because some of us walk through life as if it's just like everything's going to be sunny and bad things don't happen. And that's not true. You know, we live devoid of that. And some people walk around like, well, life is just drudgery and there's nothing to live for. And I think we found a fight even during this whole time of 2020. I think many of us did find a fight and say, no, I want to live. I want to live, and I want to declare the work of the Lord, the word of the Lord, and do all the things, you know? And so, yeah, that song is from that place. And honestly, I actually feel like that song is way more prophetic than I knew and understood. I felt like when I was recording that thing, I sang it, I finished singing it, and I felt like the Lord said, and now you, like, the next year, because I recorded that in 2020, I want to say November of 2020. And I felt like the Lord says, that's the song for your next year. And I was like, he was like, well, buckle your seatbelt, fasten it up, because if you're ready for all that it'll bring, let's go. And I remember just thinking in the days after that, really in the months after that, like, through November, through December, even into January, I was like, Lord, what is about to happen? Because I'm ready. And, you know, we see what has been happening and what is continuing to happen. And it's like, all right, Lord, whatever you want. It's super prophetic for me. And so I'm praying that it'll bless y'all as much as it's blessing me.
It's already blessing us. It's already, it's an amazing song for sure.
Sure. So Naomi, can you give us a little bit? Can you give us a little tune? A little something.
Let me see. I probably could sing that one. Now, y'all know I'm about to go look up the words, right? Because I'm the worst at the words. I'm so bad at knowing my own words. But maybe I'll sing End of Me. It would be bad if I couldn't find the lyrics.
It's all good.
It would be so bad. Yeah, I probably can't. Well, we're going to try to sing it and not know it. Oh, should I sing Gyra? Sorry, I'm this person that never knows what to sing. I'm a whole singer.
That's cool.
Just
never know what to sing.
Whatever, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Let me find out. Well, your lyrics are everywhere because I just.
Oh, right. I should go online.
Yeah, I just found them on genius.com.
This is how you know I should be better at this.
That's how you know you big.
Oh, you're so sweet. Okay. There it is. All right. I hope they're right. Hard pressed on every side, I felt each tear that I've cried. Please help me to see that I'm never defeated. And I will not lose heart. I'll fall in line and I'll do my part. This trouble won't outlast, no, your beautiful promise. Death at work in me, my mortal body, but life that works through you. I have come to the end of me. It's a new thing you're doing. Stir up the spirit of faith in me. I'm open, I'm willing, Jesus. Do your good work in me. This is just the beginning, and I'm ready for all it will bring. Yeah, if I need wisdom, if I need strength, give me perspective. Give me your rest, and I will take hold of all that you said, 'cause I'm not moving till you're moving. If I need healing, if I need hope, you are the breakthrough. You are the more. I will take hold of all that you say, 'cause I'm not moving till you're moving. I have come to the end of me. It's a new thing you're doing. Stir up the spirit of faith in me. I'm open, God, I'm willing. Jesus, do a good work in me. This is just the beginning, and I'm ready for all it will bring.
Yes. I am ready for all it will bring.
Oh my goodness. I'm just gonna just sit here for right now. I'm just gonna just chill here. After that, I'm just gonna chill here and just be in this moment. My goodness.
I I almost said, I was like, I'm not going to sing today. And then I was like, they're just so great. I want to sing now. You guys made me want to sing.
That was amazing and so necessary. So if you're listening, whether you're at the end of yourself or you can see the end, you're at the brink and you're like, Lord, I don't know how much more I can take. This song is for you. End of Me, Naomi Raine. Available everywhere digitally. Go cop that.
And the visuals.
Thank you, Naomi.
That video and that video was just, it was amazing. So
thank you. That's Tamika Jackson. She's amazing. She does all the things. She's beautiful.
All the things.
Naomi, I can't name them all. It's everything.
Exactly. Thank you so much for kicking it with us today, for being your authentic self, for being real, for being just chill. I mean, a lot of times when you're setting up interviews, like you just never really know, how loose you can get and how conservative a button up, like, do I need to pull out my tie? Do I not? Like, I mean,
Naomi is chill.
Chill. And NYC represent.
Life is too short to be uptight. But thank y'all for making me feel comfortable. I'm so grateful. This was amazing. I felt really good. So thank you for having me and for being great.
You're welcome.
Team. Super professional, super responsive. Your team was amazing. So
thank you. I can't wait to wait. Can you say that again? I'm gonna get that again so that they can see that.
Shout out to your team. Shout out to the team. They were super responsive.
Oh, wait, one more time. Okay, sorry. Go.
Okay. Shout out to your team. They were super responsive, super professional. Love it.
Yes. Shout out, y'all.
You're doing great. We love you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for gracing us with your presence, Naomi.
Thank you for having me.
Enjoy the unpacking and everything else. Thanks again.
You too. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.